Hi, my name is Andrew James and welcome to class. Previously we have discussed some of the strategies to get students more engaged in math. Today we are going to continue that discussion by talking about online resources. There have been a lot of requests by the class to discuss what is actually useful online and what is not. Today we're going to look at 3 resources that I know are effective at getting students to communicate about math and get them thinking. Not only will these videos improve their critical thinking, they'll improve their interaction with each other and their communication, discussing math. It'll improve their engagement because it's more real world. And lastly, it'll improve their number sense and how they think about numbers in general. Take a minute and think reflectively, how am I using something or a tool in the classroom to help engage students and get them to talk about math? I know that a lot of teachers have their own ways of doing things and that there's a lot of experience in solving problems. So this is just another way to get those ideas all together. As we've discussed before, there's always been a lot of issues with math, how we go about teaching it, how the problems don't make any sense, so they're not real world, or how we learn the math is new math to people, and there's a lack of just interest in general. So using these tools, we should be able to improve these skills in the classroom when they're implemented correctly throughout the school year. By the end of this video, I'm hoping the audience will be able to implement one of the tools into their classroom and their lesson plans. I'm also hoping that they will discover or create their own unique way of getting students involved with math with an activity. And I want them to determine any possible uses they can get out of these 3 videos. And we're going to start with a website that gets students thinking about numbers, graphs, and shapes.
We're going to start with which one doesn't belong. This is a great resource for math teachers to create outside-the-box thinking and critical thinking in multiple topics. With the website, you can have students argue for a shape, number, graph, or equation which does not belong with the others. There are numerous possibilities, including how you can argue specifically for one number assigned to a student, or what they think at first glance, or other options. You could group students together to determine which one doesn't belong out of the 4, or you could have them do it individually. There's a lot of other options. Each set has different levels of complexity for the problems. Even the simplest problems can tap all levels of thinking, depending on the creativity, readiness, and grade level of the students. For example, in the numbers in the middle, 43 doesn't belong because it's prime, and it's not a perfect square like the rest of them. 9 does not belong because it's the only single-digit number. 16 doesn't belong because it's the only even number, and 25 doesn't belong because it's the only one that's divisible by 5. Another example on the complexity of a simple problem, if you look at the shapes on the left, the gray one doesn't belong because it's the only one that's a different color. To be more complex, it's also the only shape with a right angle. The hexagon is a different shape because the rest are triangles, but perhaps teachers could elaborate as to why the answers have different numbers of degrees in each shape, or talk about the specific angle measurement of each angle in the shape. Lastly, if you click on the graphs and equations, you'll find a lot of simple and complex things to look at for different levels again. So overall, great way to differentiate and get students to start thinking creatively. OpenMiddle.com provides some challenging math problems for any grade level and for almost any math topic. The pages can be printed out for students to work on as well. It goes beyond number sense and dives into solving equations, using geometry, statistics, and uses excellent and simple visuals. The premise is to fill in the missing boxes with the numbers that give the largest or smallest answer or other specified classifications. Again, the website is used for critical thinking and thinking outside the box. Multiple answers are possible to each problem, and even the exact same answers can be solved different ways. There's a great depth of knowledge used in each problem. Even the simplest problem can give complex methods of solving and answers, which is really good for students. These problems are not necessarily about the correct process used, but the answer and the process combined. The simple problems do not require a lot of background information, and because of these reasons, it allows for a lot of discussion between the students and in the class. The example given is a simple example for 7th grade problem solving for students. Even if they couldn't solve a traditional problem the method that you'd think, they could guess and check a solution for X and choose 3 numbers to try and solve it correctly. Dan Meyer has a website that provides multiple 3-act tasks for teachers to use. It is in the form of a Google Sheet, and it includes the date, title, lesson plan, number of acts, Common Core standards, and the suggested question. The website provides a video, questions, information leading to an answer, and the answer. Items can be downloaded to save to computer for repeated use instead of a website. There are also other 3-act tasks available online if you search for them, although I prefer the Dan Meyer examples because they are very well prepared for teaching and planning. I'm going to demonstrate how to use the website now. Okay, we are going to start by looking for the 3-act task. Once you type it in, it's the third one because the first 2 are other options. Once you're at the Google Doc page, go ahead and choose one to watch. Okay, I'm going to choose this Sugar Packets one. So click on the hyperlink to go to it. Okay, now we're at the Sugar Packets page. The first thing you can do is download a prologue with some information. It's a zip file. What you're going to do is you're going to watch the first act with the students, and you're going to ask the questions. Here's the first act. Okay, now that you've watched the video, you can ask the question, how many sugar packets do you think are inside a 20-ounce bottle of soda? And ask for guesses, including numbers that are too high and too low. With the numbers, you can do a lot of different things, so be creative. You could make a number line and even a scatter plot of guesses. For Act 2, you need to know what information you need to know to solve the problem. So you need to look at the 2 files. There's one of the amount of sugar in a bottle of Coca-Cola, and the other is the image of a sugar content of a packet of sugar. Okay, so it says there's 65 grams of sugar in soda, and sugar packet has 4 grams of sugar. So now students can go ahead and answer the problem. Lastly, there's a video that shows the answer. Afterwards, you can also talk about food that is equal to 50 sugar packets to continue the problem. So with the 3-act task, there's multiple things you can do to get students communicating and thinking creatively in class.
These 3 websites are great examples of how to get students effectively thinking in the classroom and to get them to communicate with math. A lot of times math, people think that they don't need to communicate with others, but they really need to. So it really engages the students, so please use them. When you do this, there will probably be a big struggle at first for students because they're used to getting prescriptive ways to remember to solve problems. So be patient, be supportive, and don't forget to be encouraging to get them to think through the problem. A struggle is not necessarily a bad thing. A struggle can be a good thing because the harder a student struggles, the more likely they probably are to remember it in the future. We've learned that in the past. Also, don't forget to look up your own resources online. So take a minute, do some research, see what might work for you in the classroom. So your 2 assignments are to choose one of the 3 websites, find what will work for you in the classroom, how you're going to use it, and then discover your own or create your own, either one of those. You could also take one from online and modify it. Best of luck in future. Thanks.